Hello everybody, welcome to the Final Fantasy 13 walkthrough. Here I'm, because I'm monkeying around with my saves before we start this off, but alright, so this one's going to be, my typical walkthroughs. If you've seen any of the other ones, they're, I would say, vastly more, like, battle-oriented as opposed to storyline-oriented, which, I still do touch on the story here and there and offer my, I don't know, impressions or, yeah, I guess impressions. We'll leave it at that. So it's been actually quite a while since I've played Final Fantasy 13 here, so hopefully I will get reaccustomed to the game fairly quickly. As with all my other walkthroughs, I typically try to avoid speaking during cutscenes or I guess whenever any NPCs are speaking. So I'll try to keep up with that as best as I can. Sometimes my commentary will run a little bit over, but again, I'll try to reduce that as much as I can. 13 is a pretty fantastic game. This is definitely one of my favorites in the series. Really good characters, good storyline, although I'll be honest, I had a really tough time following it the first time I played. So, so I guess there's that. Which isn't always the worst thing ever. Sometimes, upon subsequent playthroughs, maybe things make a little more sense. Or at least that's the way it usually goes with me. I generally pick up very, very little in subsequent playthroughs, and eventually I feel like I get a pretty good feel for the games. Alright, so here we've got all kinds of, basically the opening scenes are, I guess, giving a glimpse of the main characters. And, gosh, the graphics for this game are just amazing. Look at that. I don't know, that just looks really cool. So, one of the, I guess, complaints I've heard about the game is that it's extremely linear, and I'll definitely agree with that, but I actually don't really feel like that's the worst thing ever either. I feel like there's some games that have, too much free reign, and there's other games that don't have enough. But that's the funny thing, that people always have something to complain about, and to try to expect that everybody's going to be happy with a game that's unrealistic. But again, that is as I've heard one of the things I've heard about this game, or one of the negative aspects of the game. Again, to me, it doesn't bother me one bit.
The 13 days after we awoke were the beginning of the end.
Alright, so we've got quite a bit of dialogue coming up here, so I'm going to cut the commentary for the time being, but I will rejoin you in a bit.
You serious?
Be quiet.
Best of luck. She did it! Hands high! Freeze! right? I'm out of the sea. So far, so good. They all want to fight.
Good for them. Give me that. What the...
Run! I'm in the way! Hey! Let's be rational now. Let's send in the big guns now. What do we do?
Watch and learn.
Alright, so here we've got our first battle. This one's pretty easy. Nothing too difficult here, but we do have a couple, or at least one tutorial first. I'm just gonna view it just because you know, it's got some really good information that you're gonna want to know. If you're not familiar with any of the other Final Fantasy games, typically they've got a you know, in either the older ones, actually a lot of them have the wait type battle style. This is the active battle style. Now, you know, again, with a lot of the other, especially like Square Enix games, they've got you know, two different battle styles typically. One is active, where the enemies just automatically take turns whenever they're ready, and and then there is the wait style, where once your character is ready to take an action, essentially the game is almost on pause, or as far as the enemies go. But again, so this is the active battle. So I think here you can pause during the middle of fights. So if you need to take a break and, you know, just kind of chill, get something to drink, you can do that.
Fall back!
Not so tough now, huh? Hey, that wasn't like a challenge now, all right? Hey! Time it up! I'm coming!
Jump!
Alright, round 2. So, anyways, like I was saying earlier, you can pause, you know, to take a break if you need to during combat. Otherwise, it's pretty, I guess, active, if for lack of a better word. You really need to stay on the ball as far as these battles. We'll go into it a little bit here, or in a little bit, about chaining. That's probably the biggest aspect to battle that you'll need to know. That again, that's really what kind of makes or breaks your success, I suppose, in the battle in this game. You know, a lot of the fights can be done without any sort of strategy. You know, you can just kind of mash the auto battle. But all right, so there we go. There's the first guy down, and tons of potions there.
Oh goodness. Woo. We did it. Hey. Aren't you supposed to protect civilians, soldier? I mean, you are Sanctum, aren't you? What are you doing trying to stop the purge? Why don't you tell me that?
I was a soldier.
Hey, where do you think you're going? Man. Chocobo, just can't catch a break, can we? Yeah, that's a good question. Oh well. I better follow her. I'm getting too old for this.
Alright, so here we are in the Hanging Edge. And I guess before we get too far here, we're introduced to, obviously, the first two characters, Lightning and Saz. Lightning, I guess I would say she's the main character in the game. Saz is definitely a secondary, although still I'm one of the main. I think, what do we get? I think we get 6 characters in this game. I think it's something like that. Alright, anyways. So here, I actually end up changing my camera scheme. I actually really don't like the way it's set out at first, and so I actually like to go with double inverted, and I change I think it's the x-axis first, and then I end up changing the y-axis as well later. Not that important, I guess, but you know, if that's something that you find annoying, then go ahead and switch it up as well. Give the different camera schemes a shot, you know, see what you like the best, and I guess go from there. Here is the first excuse me, the first save point here, and I would definitely recommend saving. Just get that taken care of. Obviously, I've got a couple other saves here, so this is not the first time I've ever played the game. But yeah, definitely a good idea to save. And you know, just like with anything else or with any other game, I recommend saving a lot. More is better. Alright, so let's see here. What does it say about enemy encounters here? I don't know. The only thing that you really got to know about this game is there's no actual, well, as far as I remember anyway, there's no actual random encounters. Like some of, you know, the prior Final Fantasy type games. Well, you know, to be honest, most RPGs have some sort of random encounters, but these ones, you know, not quite the case. There's still I would say most of the fights are still like forced, so it's actually, you know, difficult to avoid them, but they're not random, so to speak, where you know, are just random or running around and then you get into a random fight. You'll actually see the enemies on screen, you know, before you initiate combat with them. Sort of like, I'd say almost kind of like Chrono Trigger. You know, if anybody's played that. I mean, I'm sure there's a billion other games by now that have that same style of encounters, but that's really, I guess, what it reminds me of the most. Now, in this game, though, however, and there will be a tutorial on it coming right up here very soon, but if you if you can kind of like surprise the enemies, you get a preemptive attack, and that's, you know, again, that's pretty common as far as the other games. But the difference between this one and other games is the preemptive attacks are insane. You get a huge advantage when you get the preemptives on enemies. Basically what it does is it almost sets the chain gauge for every enemy, almost maxes it out right away. All you really have to do is hit them once and they will be at their oh, I forget what it's called now, when the chain gauge is all the way filled up. But anyways, obviously that's going to add a ton of extra damage, and that's really what chaining is all about in this game, is building the chain and actually kind of keeping the chain high, I suppose, or maintaining the chain. And again, that's some more combat stuff that we'll get into a little bit later, but you know, just know that the battle system in this and the random encounters are, well, not so random. So yeah, I guess just keep that in mind. Now, here we're fighting 3 SciComm soldiers at once, and here you'll notice with the auto, I think I'm using the auto command still, yeah. It's selecting blitz, and normally the AI in this game is really good and really efficient as far as you know, the right abilities to use and when. My impression now, again, is, and it's been a while since I played, but generally what the AI does whenever you use the auto battle command, it generally tries to select the strongest abilities, or the ones that I guess make the most sense. And initially when you fight an enemy for the first time, the AI doesn't quite know what to do, or what's most efficient, I should say. And there's kind of ways around that. I think there's like a Libra, I don't know if it's an item, I think it's an item anyway, in battle that you can use that will basically, you know, root out the weaknesses of the enemies right away. Whereas if you just attack, it'll happen automatically.
Not wanting to get purged, I get. But taking on trained soldiers?
Better to die than get sent to Pulse. It's hell for Brimstone.
Yeah, well, hell's not sounding too bad. Because this place ain't exactly paradise.
Domesticated peacekeepers. Nothing to worry about.
Well, maybe not for a soldier girl, but I'm trying to say, hey!
So, I kind of look at Saz. Saz is kind of like the, I don't know if I'd say the comic relief of the party, but he's always putting a humorous twist on events, I suppose, or keeping the environment a little more lighthearted. Lightning, on the other hand, not quite the case. You're not really gonna get a whole lot of humor out of her, I don't believe, in the game. That's just, you know, the personality. But anyways, all right. So as you can see there, we used used a couple of blitzes there, and again, the AI pretty much does a fairly good job of picking the moments where that will be most effective. And I believe we've got a treasure chest up here, or a treasure sphere. I don't know. Is that what we're gonna call these? Let's call them treasure spheres, because they're spherical in nature. Wow, can't speak today. Can't speak as usual. Anyways, all right, let's continue on here. You know, for the most part, again, you're not going to be missing a whole lot of you know, treasure spheres and whatnot. They're I would say most of them are not very well hidden. Some of them are, though, so you know, I'm going to try to do my best to get everything. That's, you know, kind of the style, I suppose, of my walkthroughs, is trying to obtain, you know, everything. But anyways, I did, like I said earlier, I swapped my camera scheme there because I was really not liking the way it was set up. So I've got a double inverted style here. All right, so this fight here, these guys. What are these guys? Okay, this is the Enforcer. Aerial Recon. These guys are a little beefier than the rest, and you'll notice there at the top of the screen, if you're looking at his chain gauge, obviously his chain gauge is really low, and then it's got 3 question marks. That's because we don't know, well, until now, what his break or chain break point is at. All right, let's see here. Iron Bangle. All right, and then the first time that you defeat an enemy, the you know, all the chain information will be learned. So. Excuse me. Alright, so the Iron Bangle, I would definitely recommend equipping that on Lightning right away, just because. So one thing that you have to know in this game, and it's a little annoying, is that if your leader dies, it's a game over. Your followers or your secondary characters in battle can die, and you can revive them with Phoenix Downs. But again, if the leader goes down, that's a game over. And I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. It's a little annoying, but that's just kind of what you got to deal with. All right, back to crushing down dudes here. And all right, so what was in the other treasure chest there? We had the wrong info here. We had after the Iron Bangle, it was another 50 gil. I don't know. The money in this game, it's a little interesting. So actually, yeah, I guess now that we're now I went to dual inverted. Okay. Anyways, so money, very difficult to come by actually in this game, and it's you actually just don't get money to drop from normal encounters.
Preemptive strike.
Rebels! So much for the element of surprise.
Yes, Saz was right there. This was not a preemptive strike. Alright, so here starts the item usage tutorial. To be honest, this game has very few items, and that's, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. No, whatever. It is what it is. But, potions, interesting about potions in this game is that they affect all of your characters. So, that's definitely one good thing about it. Not only do you not have to manually select your characters, then you just hit potion and then I guess confirm its usage. And yeah, so obviously we're gonna get better potions later on in the game, but for now, I believe potions restore. Was it 150? I think it's 150 health at the beginning of the game. And there's ways to increase that. I think with I believe they call them synthesized abilities. I think that's what it's called anyway. Again, that's another thing that we'll definitely get into much later on in the game. But all right, got a little scene here.
Do we turn back?
There's no time.
Then what do you suggest we do?
Quiet.
Hey! Wait! No, don't leave me!
Let go!
The hell no! You're my only way out of here! No! Hey, that might get us across. Right there. Right?
Looks that way.
All right, you leave this to me.
Alrighty. Continuing on. Got a pretty decent-sized fight here. Blitz will be put to good use. I would actually recommend taking out the Psychom Warden first. He's actually pretty weak. Yeah, look at him. I think Blitz half-shot him there, and then Saz finished him off. Then I'm not... There we go. We're back to Blitz now again. So basically anytime you've got more than, I think it's more than 2 enemies, Blitz is always best. I should say, if you're going to connect with, you know, more than 2 enemies, that's when Blitz is best. You know, at a certain point, though, it doesn't really matter. I suppose, though, now that it's probably a good idea to point this out, but at the end of battle here, you're getting a rating. And obviously, we're getting generally 5 stars, but that affects the drop rate of your items. I don't remember exactly the percentages. I'll have to try to look that up. But basically, the more the stars you get, the better your chances are of getting items. So, you know, again, always aim for efficiency, and that's what it boils down to. It's really just efficiency. You're based on I believe it's time versus like your stats. So you know, if you're extremely powerful but you're using like poor tactics, you know, your star rating will go down. And there's some kind of cheap ways to kind of circumvent the system a little bit, and we'll get into that much later. But you know, just for the time being, just know that you want to try to be as efficient as you can in combat to get rewards.
Not our lucky day. It's a soldier too, right?
Deportees, are we? Weapons down. I'd hate for this to turn ugly.
Turn ugly?
He wants to kill us without a fight.
Time's up!
Time's up. All right, so I think this is the chain tutorial. Yeah, here we go. So chaining, again, you know, like I said earlier, it's really what makes or breaks you in combat here. In some fights, it's not as pivotal, but in others, it very much is. And really, it's anything that's got just a ton of health is always a good, or it's always a good strategy to try to chain, you know, get that chain gauge built up. For this fight, I think it turned out just fine. But I don't know. Oh, staggered. That's right. That's the term for when you get a full chain gauge. I kind of forgot about that. All right, so that's the term. So I'll be using that from now on because it's the correct term. But anyway, I don't know if I should have taken out the little guys first, but they would have gone down quite quickly. That probably would have been a better idea. But I did go right for the Marauder right away. One thing I want to note too: these guys, the guy that kind of has this, yeah, I don't know, the graphic or this sprite for the Marauder. I don't know. The guys that look like that, some of them have really good rare items. The Marauder doesn't, but you know, I guess keep an eye out, and I will definitely point out those enemies as we take them on.
So, soldier, what's your angle? What? Classified military info? Huh? What's the matter? You quit, didn't you? Did you think I'm gonna go out there and just tell everybody your secrets?
Huh? My angle. I'm after the Foul Sea. Still happy you tagged along.
Didn't have a choice.
the sacrifice ensures the continued safety and peace of our society. Were it not for this remarkable gesture, every resident of Cocoon, your family, your friends, your neighbors, would be exposed to the dangers of the world below. By choosing to leave Cocoon and participating in this migration.
Migration? More like extermination.
Huge. You stay here.
Sorry. I didn't mean to.
These people need heroes. Here. You keep your cool, and they will too. You got it?
Got it.
What's our motto?
The army's no match for Nora.
That a boy.
Alright, so here we are at the Resistance front, and for the time being, Lightning and Saz will not be available. We will be transitioning to one of our other main characters, and this is Snow. Like him or not, I don't know. I like him. He's a good guy. Alright, 50 gil. Grab that treasure chest right away. Treasure sphere, whatever. And I noticed if you walk up next to these people, they'll actually like say a little. Oh, they've got a little bit of dialogue, although you have to really be listening carefully because they're extremely quiet and there's a lot of kind of background noise going on. But anyways, I'm actually going to cut the commentary here. So like, comment, and subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. This guide was helpful though, and hope you join me for more. Alright, thanks for watching.